Benji, Ben Flack, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you here this morning. It's Tuesday morning edition of the stream. If you know what I mean, how you doing out there, the great and amazing world? It's warmed up a little bit. Still not about to go single long johns here this morning. We're still double long johns here this morning. If you haven't seen the show before, I want to thank you for tuning in and a whole lot more. We're pushing that 350 subscriber mark all the way to the to the 500 subscriber mark. Good morning, Ben Affleck. Thanks for tuning in. Well. All right. Do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Is there enough information out there, or is there just too much gall darn information? Let me do it for you. Let's go to 500. Thank you, Ben. Let's do it. Let me ask you, Ben, do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards, or do you like when I do it for you? I'm doing it each and every morning here on the morning show. It's Brody Alfonso talking stocks, talking Magic talks, and trying to find out what's going on in this crazy mixed up world of Magic the Gathering. New releases coming out this year. Plenty of sets to discuss. So we're starting the year off with a bang. And this morning we're going to do a little bit of a game called Let's Rate Those AI Generated Magic Cards. Got some news articles for you here today as well on the stock desk. We're going to just catch up on what the writers in the space have to say, and we're going to look at some movers and the shakers here this morning. I got an extra hot cup of coffee here this morning, and I'm changing it up. I've got some cream in my cup this morning. Coffee with cream. I hope you do too. No matter where you are, whether you got Brody Dragon from the bumper of the car sitting next to the coffee pot, maybe I'm in your back pocket here this morning while you're getting ready to go to work, wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in, my friends of the channel. If you're a friend of Magic the Gathering, you're a friend of mine. All right. So we got a couple of new cards here to warm up with this morning on the stream. If the card, let's just go over the rules for those of you who are just tuning in. If the card is playable in any way, shape, or form, even if it's a little overcosted, if it's functional in the world of a Magic card, you're going to hear this sound. If it's a bummer of a card, if it doesn't make any sense, if it's got gibberish on it, if it's not playable, you're going to hear this sound here. That's right. We're going to fail it. We're going to get it out of here. Leave it to Beaver. All right. Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. But it makes it a little better when you're here talking Magic stop. So let's go. Let's take a look at this card. Wandering Lumber. Mr. Lumbar. Uh-huh. All right, Lumbar. What do we got? Just a little bit of coffee and a little bit of cream here this morning. Legendary 1-1. What's this, a Yodas Wizard? Yodas Wizard. Okay. Legendary Yodas Wizard 1-1. Cost you Simic Blue. Simic Blue, can I do what you mean? Whenever you attack, all creatures you control become the color of your choice until end of turn. At the beginning of your draw step, each player draws a card. So Group Hug. And whenever a non-token creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, you create a red 5/5 dragon creature flying. So you get a 1/1 for 3 mana. The 1/1 for 3. That makes 5/5s. I do like making 5/5s. I made some 5/5s last night. Let's pass it. It's okay. Seems fine. Yotis. I need my lumbar worked on. Totally. I need my lumbar worked on. My lumbar is your lumbar sore? You having trouble getting your shoes on? Maybe this card is for you. The Wandering Lumbar. Yes, your back has gone out and we don't know where it is anymore. It's wandered off when your back goes out. That is the Wandering Lumbar. Okay, no problem. Fine, fair enough. What is this card? Fair, overpowered, non-functional. I'd say it's fair. Yeah, 58.3 of you folks would agree that this card is fair. It's fair game. But what about this card? Ta Irva. Oh, Ta Irva is popular. It's a 5/3. Means it's a juggernaut. Ta Irva, a Vigi. 5/3 for 7 mana. 2 green and 5 for a vigilant popular. This card seems very popular. Nothing wrong here. Nothing to see here, folks. Neat card art. Let's pass it. Let's do that. Let's pass this card. It seems fine. We're going to cruise right along through these. Fair, OP, underpowered. I'm going to give it a fair. Underpowered. Most people say this is what is this? 90% of people say it's underpowered? I don't know. This brings me back to like the Mirage block where we had like creatures with a downside ability that are overcosted. A 5/3 for 7 with vigilance. You get vigilance for that extra 2 mana. Like, what do you want? In this day and age, vigilance has got to be at least a couple of mana. No? No? All right. What do you want for 7 mana, Ben? You want this? Like, do you want it to take something out of your opponent's hand? There's so many cards that play out of your opponent's deck and off your opponent's hand. In Magic now, it's getting a little bit crazy. You almost have to read these cards. I see what do you mean? I see, what do you mean? Right? All right, this card's just fine then. I see. What do you mean? How about this? The Essence of Forces. The Essence. This is a saga. Baba La Saga. Baba Yaga. All right, this morning we're talking Baba Yaga, Baba La Saga, the Essence of Forces. The saga cost you a white and 1. Create a treasure token. This seems good, especially in this day and age. People want to make the treasure token. The treasure token is dangerous. Let me tell you that much. Didn't say please, any of those cards that make you treasure token. Treasures is brown. For 2 mana, you can get this treasure token, and then you get draw a card for each creature you control. Pretty cheap saga. 2 mana. You get a treasure token and a card. Maybe if you're making knights, this could be good. It's like History of Benalia goes with, perhaps. All right. I think we got to give it an okay. Give it an all right okay, everybody. Seems fine. More fair than I think. What are you up to today, Ben? You got the day off, perhaps? Doing anything cool? Maybe you're just marinating on the couch here today. What is this? Fair, OP, underpowered? I'm going to give it a fair. Some people say OP. 50% of people say this is overpowered. Get the treasure and a card draw? Nah, I got to work later. Me too. I got to go to work because I'm the working man for the working man. That's right. I got my part to play. I got to get out there and do some stuff. And people to show up to and try and move this world along one step at a time. Just do my part in it. All right, what are we back to where we started yesterday? Contribute to society. Yes, I've got my contributions to make. That's right. That's what we do in this day and age. Yes. By night, Brody plays cards. By day, I must be a fully fledged adult. I think we saw this one yesterday. The ghost troll. Is this like somebody who just shows up on your comment section? And I've been a ghost troll on the internet, right? Who are you? The ghost troll. I salute you, Mr. Ben. Thank you. All right, we saw this one yesterday. The 3-1 takes a white and 4 to play it. You get this ogre fish. Whenever Ghost Troll deals damage, he gains control of Ghost Troll. Hey. I think, what did we rate this yesterday? I think we wrote it gibberish. Let's give it a buzzin', cousin. Right? Underpowdered the Ghost Troll, right? I had some fun last night. It was good. We played Casual Commander. What do you prefer to play? Do you play, what is your format of choice there, Ben? Lately, Commander has been where it's at for me. I started trying to play some competitive decks, but sometimes the games go quickly. And last night was more of a casual night, so that was all right. Some news about the updates of the events and happening on Saturday night. I don't know if you tuned in yesterday. We had a bit of an incident at the shop where we play, but last night was good because we did a little bit of a meet and greet between the friends who are in the play group. We decided to go to another locale. We've moved locations. That's what we've had to do. It's unfortunate, but people walking in off the street into a game of Magic and just being disruptive, no fun. It really kind of spoils it for everyone. So we're going to go to the Coliseum. That's where we're going to go. Coliseum Games. I was happy to say folks are okay with that. So we'll check it out, see how it goes. Give a shout out to the folks over the Coliseum Games. It's a not for profit. This is another way to do things here in the world of Magic the Gathering. Like, we've had a lot of trouble with local game stores actually being able to make it. If you guys watch the videos, you kind of know at this point in time, we don't have a local game store. We've got like what do we got? We got like a collectibles shop that sells Magic singles and packs, and they sell all kinds of stuff. They've got coins, they've got toys, they've got oddities, Pokemon, video games, old video games, consoles, and what have you. And that's where we usually get our Magic. Now, we had a store here about 5 years ago, I think. It didn't last very long. It's unfortunate, but it was really fun to play. Now, there's another option out there. I know the local game store would be nice to have an LGS, but the other option is a club, like a not for profit group. So there's a couple of them in the one town not too far from here. They've got a gaming club, which isn't a store. So this is another option that people have sort of taken up around where I live. There's been one in the next town over for as long as I can remember, since I've been up here, over 10 years. It's a gaming club. So you pay your monthly dues, membership fees, and if you want to come down and drop in on a weeknight or any day of the week, it'll cost you a toonie to get in. That's the membership fee, and then it's got a locked door policy. You can go there and you can play your games. You can organize groups, you can organize events, and folks can meet you there on a Friday or Saturday night or any day during the week. And the other option is to go to some place like we've been discussing, like the Coliseum Games. That's a not for profit gaming club that was started where I am at last September. Now, the membership fees are a little higher than what they are at the other not for profit. Now, I get it, it is a not for profit, but how do you get people into the store? It's kind of like an option. to get people. Well, it's not a store. It's not a store. It's just a gaming club. They don't have sales there. So I guess the other option is to start a gaming club where folks get memberships and then they come in whenever they want with their play groups, or you can pay the drop-in fee and play there. Now that's good and bad. Some people don't have the bucks to buy a membership. I think the membership there is $30 a month, so it's a dollar a day again. So it's good if you use it. But like I remember a few years ago, like I had this New Year's resolution, and I went down to the local gym and I bought myself a gym membership, and then I got sent out of town for work for a few months at a time, and I forgot about it. I never actually went. And then by the time I got my poop in a group and I ended up going back to the gym, I don't think the membership was expired, and I don't think I even used it once. So they got my membership fee for the year. I think that's what kind of happens, especially in New Year's. Like if you're a gym and the New Year rolls around, I bet you your gym memberships are really high. But if you don't go, well, you end up getting out of shape, and then you end up just handing over your gym membership money, and you don't actually go. So you got to actually make use of it, right? And it's kind of a bummer if some people can go and some people don't go because you're paying the membership cost. So, um, yeah, it's a different way, a different approach. Have you ever seen this approach? The gaming clubs? Yes, this is a gaming club. So you can join a gaming club, and that's where the membership fees and the dues go to pay the rent and keep the lights on. Hey, what's going on? Hit that like. Oh my God, that happens with gym membership. That's what happens with gym memberships. It is. So I was just saying there, Brain. Last September, a gaming club popped up in the town near me. Now, it's not a store; it's just a club. Folks were humming and hawing, finding it'd be nice to find a place to play that didn't cost you too much money. But with the incident that happened on Saturday, I had somebody come in off the street, kind of disrupt the entire cafe, entire gaming cafe where we were playing. So that's these cafes and these gaming restaurants. That's something you may see in the major cities. Well, we have a little one here, and then they'll have board games and foosball and stuff like that. But the thing is you don't have really any control over who comes in and who doesn't. So anybody could sit down at a game of Magic the Gathering and start talking to people. If they're not players, they could be there or just looky loos. And some people just want to come in and get in off out the cold. But it's a bit of an unfortunate situation that we had somebody come in and disrupt the entire evening. Did some damage to the restaurant. We're not sure if the restaurant owner is going to have us back. And the sad part about it is it's like a reflection on the gaming group. It was a new owner that had just taken over the gaming cafe, and they were sort of looking at the play group, going, "Who's that friend of yours?" We're like, "We don't know this guy." Just somebody come right in, some rando coming off the street, didn't want to play games, just wanted to cause trouble for the folks that were there. So because it's a public place, you can't really, only the store owner can sort of say who stays or goes, who's a patron, who's not. So moving our event to the gaming club is going to give us a bit of a locked doorbell policy so that you know that the folks that are going there are interested in playing. It also happened when we used to play at the library. We'd that's what we do in this day and age. You'd find any place to play. Reminds me of high school when you like, play your Magic cards in homeroom, because like it was a place you could get together and it had a door on there, and you didn't have to worry about people roughing you up because you're playing some nerdy game. Well, I like my nerdy games, and we just want to be left alone and have some fun. But every once in a while, somebody will walk in and go, "What is this? What is this?" This is when like Magic was deemed to be like a potentially cultish type of game, right? The art was really controversial, early art and stuff like that. So So then you go play at the library or somewhere public. Well, public places are great because they don't cost you a lot of money to play as long as you're being respectful of it. But then you can have just about anybody join in and around and take a look and see what's going on. And sometimes there's always one apple that spoils a bunch. Brody's too nice to manhandle the randos, right? Right. Well, I thought about it, and there was enough. I thought about it, but I was like, no, I can't get involved here. I can't do it. The police got involved anyway. So we're moving venues. Saturday night, we're going to try the Coliseum Games. Was fortunate to I spot some advertising, did some sponsorship and advertising, gave them a donation, and they give us some memberships to pass around. So we're going to try it for a month and see how it goes. So that'll be interesting. I'll give you guys an update next Saturday with how it goes. They got lots of space. Warhammer is a big game up here. Lots of people like the figurines. They like taking out the measuring stick. They like rolling and playing Warhammer. So we'll see how it goes. We can get some table space to play Magic cards. Got an article here for you folks today. Thanks for tuning in, Mr. Ed, the dual brain. Ben Affleck and Mr. DJ Long here. Called that. Brody could have had the randos. I could have had the randos bum rushed out the door in about two shakes of a popper deck, but I had to control myself. Right? If you touch the poop, might end up getting some on you, and then that's no good. Then all of a sudden you're implemented. You're like the troublemaker. Trying not to be a troublemaker. Trouble can find you anyway, either which way. Well, let's take a look at the stock desk here. I've got an article for you folks here to read this morning. No AI art here. Artist themed decks in pre-modern. Let's have a looky loo. Who's bringing us this article here today? Edward Yang. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're focusing on something a little bit different than my other art series under competitive MTG finance category. It's been a lot of buzz around the AI incident of Wizards of the Coast that happened. And I find it all very interesting as AI seems to have really ramped up in the last year or so, especially with how the general public is interacting with and has been affected by more consumer-facing products that utilize AI technology. AI or not, I'm excited to see how things unfold for Wizards of the Coast as a company and how Magic's art will evolve, whether it continues to utilize AI or not. Additionally, I started to think about the early days of Magic, how I was mesmerized by the artwork. Ain't that true? And a lot of people too. That's why, like, people who pass by in a group of people who are playing Magic for the first time, when they look at the board and they see the art that's happening, they just can't help themselves but stop, look, and ask the question and go, what is going on here? Magic has that allure to it, the visual eye appeal. It's interesting to the eye and it's interesting to the mind. Wow. The game and the artwork have really come a long way since then. Let's have a little sip of coffee. Extra hot coffee with cream today. All right, after I read more about the AI incident, I made me think about a couple of posts seen on Facebook rendering and regarding some artist themed decks in a pre-modern group, which I thought were pretty cool, and I'd like to feature them in the article. Ron Spencer. One of the first is Ron Spencer deck. Take a look closely at this beauty. This is a pretty cool deck. It's got Ashen Ghoul. That's the first card over here. I remember playing this card. It's from Ice Age. I can tell you what it does. This is one of the cards that used to be played with Nether Shadow, right? If you remember Nether Shadow, that's that 1/1 black creature for 2 mana. And I think if it has it used to call it a summon card, but if it had a creature card directly above it, then you could return it to the battlefield. Ashen Ghoul was a 3/1, and it sort of did that. It was one of the first cards, probably it's the second card that would come back to the battlefield if it had a creature directly on top of it. So you would have to have a creature card on top of it, and then you play its activation cost. What else we got? We got Skittering Scourge, Trade Scourge. Plague Bearer. Of course, this is Terror. What's this one here? I'm not sure what the art is here. It's like an Ori, Heuristic Siphon, Spinal Craft. And we got Diabolic Edict, Bone Shredder, Sinking Scourge, Maggot Carrier, and Cabal Therapy. The card we were talking about yesterday. Cabal Therapy and Cabal Therapist. So this is a art-themed deck. I like it. Also very foily. Pretty neat. So folks do artist-themed decks. I like it. And some, of course, some swamps. Ron Spencer, another great landscape artist as well. Aside from the original artwork of Terror, I think another cool version of the Magic Player Rewards version, which was also done by Ron Spencer, even with all the different versions of many individual cards printed these days, I think it's pretty safe to say that there won't be a version printed that'll be similar to the Magic Player Rewards version, since Wizards has moved away from the textless cards. They could see the price of these old holding or even going up slower over time. Terror? Is this the full art from Terror? This is a freaky art from Terror. I like it. Is that Ron Spencer as well? It is. Terror was such a good card. I mean, it was. Destroy target non-black, non-artifact creature. Is that the same dude? It is. This guy's just curled up in a ball, terrified, right? 4-color Omnath. Hold my beer. I was playing 2-color Omnath yesterday. Good, mostly losses, but for a few wins, right? Oh, how was the old school event, Dual Brain? I gotta ask. I'm interested to know. Because there was a couple of interactions on my Twitter feed that I saw about old school, and I was trying to find a link to it to send you, but alas, it's like anything on Twitter that's good. It's there 1 minute and you can't find it the next, right? Let's look at the chart on this one. Textless Terror. I know there was a group of textless cards, and I think Psionic Blast was one of them. The textless Psionic Blast. And this, I think, is from the same era. Psionic Blast? Let me try and find that card. Psionic. Psionic Blast. Let's try to find this one. Maybe it's this one. Player rewards. Yeah, there it is. So here's another example of these textless cards. They were popular. And there's a textless Terror, if you didn't know already. But what's the Psionic Blast worth? $2. I had a couple copies of it. This is like the blue burn, right? Does 4 damage to any target and 2 damage to you. Aleski. I can't say it. Aleski Bricklot, I think, is the art. But this is another target, like as a potential pickup from the deck, is Maggot Carrier. For 1 mana, and it's a zombie, which is a popular creature type that people seem to like building around. And it's legal in Pauper. Playing a playset seems to make sense curve-wise, and it doesn't target players. Maggot Carrier, 1/1 zombie, comes into play. Each player loses life. All right. Art PO. I need that Terror. It's a cool. Yeah, it's cool. Hey, it's the same dude, but just another angle. Art PO point of view is when I encountered a difficult board state and I'm a red player. Pete Venters. All right, here's an artist deck flush with Pete Venters cards. All signed too. Look at this, eh? I like going to these legacy events where people have put time into these decks. These are all signed cards. Like, wow, like get the lineup going. Managed to get a few old school full art foils. Nice. Damnation foil in a deck. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the interaction that I saw, Ed, online, that was an old school interaction. It was cool. It was like a one photo, and then the fellow was playing Flying Men. He's like, I play my Flying Men. I mutagenic growth it to give it +3/+3. Then I give it giant growth to give it another +3/+3, making it a 7/7. And then I give it a berserk, making it a 14/14 flying, and I attack. And then the response from the opponent was, say hello to this card. May I interest you may I introduce to you Subdue. This is a great old school card. So the guy plays Flying Men, and then he plays Mutagenic Growth or Unstable Mutation. Yes, Flying Men, Unstable Mutation, Giant Growth, and Berserk. And the opponent says, may I introduce you to Subdue? Look at this furry little friend here, right? Pay a green, prevent all combat damage to be dealt by target creature this turn. That creature gets OX until end of turn, where X is its converted mana cost. So, like, it's like a fog, but Buddy subdues his Flying Man as the mutagenic growth. Later, Ben, thanks for stopping by and smashing that like button. Appreciate you. Be safe out there, and may the wind be at your back and the sun on your face. Subdue. Yes, this is one of those cards that I'd see early in the game of Magic. It's from Legends, and it was like the art on it just draws you in. You're like, what is going on here? The guy is trying to like spear this fuzzy little dude, and he just can't do it. All right, let's take a look at Foil Coffin Purge. It's shot up in price in recent years, but if you can find cheap copies, they're probably good pickups. I know how both its mana cost and flashback costs are just one black. We also see another Magic Rewards card show up in this deck. Infest. What's this one? Is this the same card? No, Bone Knitter, Infest. This is some creepy art on this one. It almost looks like, what's her name from the Harry Potter films? Ah, it'll come to me. But the art and the card style are so cool. And although the Onslaught version was done by Ben Thompson and not Pete Venters, I think foil copies are also decent pickups for consideration. The Ben Thompson artwork is also awesome. Later, bros. All right, I also like targeting Bone Knitters, which is another low mana zombie that can even regenerate Maggot Carrier. And finally, I like to talk about Duress. Is there a full art Duress? Oh, no, this is their version of Pete Venters. 7th edition. What an iconic card, especially when foil versions of the Urza Saga artwork hit the market via the Arena promos. Since then, Duress has become a card that's seen many reprints, including the 7th edition version by Pete Venters. I also imagine that Wizards will continue to reprint Duress from time to time, even after this current standard rotation. Since the card still sees play outside standard, I think it's hard to say that you can go wrong picking up any of the Arena promos in 7th edition foil, even though they're a bit on the pricey side. Well, one person that knows about the 7th edition foils, that's Cosmic Steed. So let's give a shout out to you this morning if you're watching. Yeah, some people picking up cards just based on artists. Eh? Not a bad way to go. And you can see some folks like to make decks just built around artist themes. And wrapping up, we're talking about artist themed decks, and we're taking a look at the financial side of some of the cards from these two decks. Enjoying and reminiscing about the older days of Magic's artwork, and I hope you did too. I'd love to see and hear about another artist themed decks that you guys have come across or built. Hit me up on social media with pics and deck lists. Respectfully, Eddie. Eddie Yang. Oh, Eddie's on X. We got to give Eddie a follow here this morning. Let's do it. Ah, he's got the Psionic Blast. Another writer from the stock desk. If you haven't hit Eddie up, you like some articles from him. I'm going to hit a follow here. I'll give him a shout out a little later here today. What are you folks up to here this morning? It's Tuesday. I choose you to join me on the stream here this morning. Talking a little bit of Magic Shop here this morning. What are we going to do? One more article here this morning? I think I got a good one. I think I've got a good one. Best modern decks, best pioneer decks. All right, let's check this out. MTG giveaway offers new Murders at Karlov Manor booster box. What? Oh, okay. We're going to do the movers and the shakers. My producer is informed me that the folks want the movers and the shakers. All right. Can't argue with the producers. They're the ones who pay the bills. Wait a second. I am the producer. Your host and producer, host with the most, giving you the magic morning show. We're talking stocks. We're talking finance. We're going to see what is good in the world of magic. I'm liking the echoing deeps. That's my speculation for 2024. You guys just watch and see. Watch that card. I'm gonna be watching it too. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that land's definitely got some steam behind it. Got some legs. Got places to go. It's got people to see, and it's got lands and graveyards to copy. All right, what do we got here on the movers and the shakers today? It's Modern Monday was yesterday. Today is Tuesday. So what does that mean? We got Modern Pioneer. Let's look at the Pioneer list here this morning. Here's a crazy card at the top of the pile. Anointed Procession. Man, if I could have seen this coming. $50 for the Anointed Procession. I mean, I opened. Goedemiddag, Brody. Meneer. Jurgen. Welkom in het kanaal. Thank you for joining me here, all the way from the Netherlands. We got friends, nerd and proud of, giving a fist bump here this morning. We're talking movers, shakers. This is your onbewolen dagelijkse Magic the Gathering kanaal. For all of you folks who know what I'm talking about. Yes, your onbewolen dagelijks Magic the Gathering content. The belangrijke stream, Jurgen. All right, Anointed Procession. If I had known, I opened lots of it, and I really, really enjoyed playing Amonkhet. It was a good theme. It was a little underpowered compared to Kaladesh and the Ixalan series that came out right around the same time. It was a good time for Magic. I could have expected this card to do something, but it's only been a short couple of years, and now it's sitting at $50. Let's take a look at this here. Anointed P was coming, but definitely not as soon or as where I thought. Me neither. $50. This is like when you go back through your singles. Another card from let me just look at this one here. Authority of Consoles. Here's another card from in and around the same era. Authority of Consoles. This was a rare you'd get in the Kaladesh block, and it was like, oh, I've already got so many of them. But this card's like $10, right? This one here, $50 for the Anointed Procession. Is going to see a reprint, perhaps. How many versions are we? Yeah, we got the list. Didn't hit on the list. It's also been on Amonkhet Remastered and Amonkhet in general. So this thing's $50. Let's see. If an effect were to create one or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens instead. So going the way of the doubling season, this thing can really do some work, right? An enchantment card, and it's only one white. That's kind of a nice thing. A lot of good cards in white cost double white. And of course, we know that double white is the hardest mana pip combination to get in Magic. Double white's pretty tough. Triple white's even worse. But let's look at the history of this chart. I want to take a look at this card. Anointed P. Oh, I could use a whole play set of Anointed Processions. I think this is a card that I ended up buy listing at one point in time. Yeah, I did. Got rid of it. Sold out of it. It's like, okay, it can't be that good. But it is. It's $50 for a once was standard legal card not too long ago. Seeing some ticks up in price here in and around the $30-$40, but now this card is flying. It took a swoop up in price right around here to the $40 mark around Strixhaven, then a little retrace back around New Capenna. Sorry about the Brody's having a little tough time on the charts this morning, keeping it out of the ditches and on the road. And now we got this nice little swoop up here, like cup and handle pattern. The stock term of the day, cup and handle. So here we are drawing the cup and handle pattern for you here, folks. Cup and handle is a bullish pattern. We talked about stock terms once before, and reading these charts, you know, if you get a chance, you can do that with you folks today. What is the cup and handle pattern? What does the cup and handle pattern tell you? Well, it's a bullish trend, that's for sure. All right. Let's bring this over here. All right, here's an example of the cup and handle pattern. Okay, when we're looking at these stock charts, there's some reoccurring patterns that happen, and it's not about like you see, like it's not a. There's a lot of people who draw lines on charts and they speculate and they're like, "This is going to do this. It's going to break to the upside. It's going to make a wedge." All I'm saying is, if you are interested at all in tracking the prices of Magic cards, just look. We're going to go over some of these investment patterns that you see here, and like once you see them, you begin to be able to spot them again and again. So there's wedges, there's flying wedges, falling wedges, flags, there's pennants, there's and then there's this one. So you want to look and see like what are the bullish patterns. Now it's not like you have a crystal ball. A lot of this is a lot what people do with speculating in stocks and crypto, and they draw lines on charts and they're trying to try and be smart and tell you like this one's going up because I see this pattern happening. But most of the time with these stock patterns, it's like you look back and you look at the history of the chart, and like when some of these patterns form, then you can kind of draw some parallels and you can kind of draw some conclusions about whether or not that pattern confirmed a bullish trend or if it confirmed a bearish trend. But a cup and handle pattern is this. All right. Several ways to approach the cup and handle. Most basic is to look for the entering the long position. The image below depicts a classic cup and handle formation, placing a stop buy order slightly above the upper trend line of the handle, yada yada yada. What we want to know is basically the cup and handle is a bullish pattern, right? You get this slinky, long, drawn out low bottom, which is the cup. And then you get a slight retrace after that, which makes the handle. And then usually after that, you get a breakout to the upside. I like it. So much like what we're seeing here, that's why I kind of brought this up. Here's your cup. Here's your handle. And then likely we're going to see more of some upside momentum going off of this stock chart here. Now, it's really easy to look back in retrospect and say, I told you. But all I'm saying is, like, if you look at these charts long enough, you begin to see patterns, right? Anointed Procession, we do want to see what's playing it. Who's playing this card and where are we playing it? This is, of course, Pioneer Day, right? Playing Pioneer? No, it's Commander. Edgar Markov is playing it. Jeez Louise. I finally found my Edgar Markov. Here's a card that's worth $140. The Edgar Markov came in a Commander deck. Really powerful card. This is the one that's got Eminence. And some folks were saying that Edgar is going to see a reprint. So just hold your horses. But I strongly disagree. I have folks that I've discussed this with close and near and dear to me. They seem to claim that Eminence was a mistake because it's entirely too powerful, because Edgar he's in play whether he's not in play. He's a 0 mana commander because of Eminence, right? Whenever you cast another vampire spell, if Edgar is in the battlefield or in the command zone, you get a 1/1 vampire token. So he's a 0-mana commander. He's in effect even when he's just in the command zone. And a card like Anointed Procession is going to double that amount of tokens. I don't think Edgar's going to get a reprint ever. I just don't think it's going to happen, which tells me that a card like Edgar's got some long time price stability. Even if he does see a reprint, the original one's probably not going to take a dump. But the probability of getting an Edgar reprint, about a snowball's chance in summer. With a card like Anointed Procession working well with Edgar, doubling the amount of tokens, you get to Eminence again and again. So the Vampire deck, maybe I'll have to build one. Why not? Edgar's broken, but they are afraid to ban now due to his popularity. Ah, yes. Tommy Siddons, thanks for joining. Appreciate you for joining us here this morning. That's a good point. He is popular and people play him. So what are you going to do? Just upset the entire world of Magic the Gathering, entire play group? Just because he's so powerful? I sort of thought that Edgar actually was banned at one point, but he wasn't. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Has Edgar ever been banned? I don't think so. There was talkings about banning him years ago, and I think everybody sort of just forgot about him. Now he's back and making headlines because he is worth $150, and it's expensive. So I had to go through my bulk and find my never banned. Okay, thank you for correcting me on that. I was under the assumption when I started first getting into Commander, there was only so many precons available. And like the precon that I played yesterday was like the Moldiah deck. And like people in the playgroup were like, yeah, Brody, that's a deck that like it's an old Commander deck. So like the older Commander decks kind of didn't have their stuff organized. And like one of the folks in the playgroup made a really cool comment there last night. They said, wouldn't it be interesting if the people who designed the precon got a bonus or got paid based on how many pre-constructed decks sell? So the better the precon, the more sales, then the more revenue that the game designers who designed it would generate, right? Like basically a performance booster for the people who are designing the pre-constructed decks to incentivize building good decks, synergistic with a price point in mind, the $40 commander deck mark. But it goes to show that all precons are not constructed equally, because the one that I showed up was the landfall deck, and it was considerably underpowered compared to like some of the pirate decks or the sliver decks or any of the precons that come out today. They're just simply better than they were 5 years ago. But the Edgar deck kind of is an exception to that. I played it. I couldn't really get behind the vampires because I just hate vampires. I don't like vampires. I don't like vampire movies. I'm not a vampire fan. They just the blood sucking and the neck gorging and too much blood. Just not for me. But like that show, like What We Do in the Shadows, I can watch that because it's comedy. I can watch Count Duckula, but like Count Duckula is about as good as it gets for Brody when it comes to vampires. But like decks like the vampire deck that had the Edgar in it, very popular, pretty decent. So what do you think? Should the people who design precons get a little bonus if the precon sells better? Who knows? Good comment though. It made me think about it because the precons that were coming out, the Moldiah deck that I played is about 5 years old and it's a little bit underpowered when you put it next to some of the current precons that are out there today. Here's a card I buy listed. All right, makes me sad to see this. Makes me sad to see this on the movers and the shaker because it's a card that I think I have in the buy list box. $27 from Zendikar Rising. Is this the one? Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand plus one. You have no max hand size for the rest of the game. Holy smokes. Let me take a look at this chart. I know I buy listed this card. I could probably tell you what they gave me for it. And this is when Brody starts kicking himself because I buy listed it probably a year and a half ago, and now it's just starting to see some popularity. Look at this. It's just been steadily trending up. It was around the $10 mark. It's just doubled that. It's hit the $20 mark. Do I regret it? Kind of. I didn't realize how good this card is. I just sort of looked at the casting cost myself, and I was like, there's no way I am going to be playing this card for what? 6 mana? 7 mana? So I have a rule in Magic the Gathering in competitive play. If it costs 6 or more mana, it should do something the turn it happens, and it should just about be able to win you the game. This one's 7 mana, and it just draws you a bunch. So it needs something else to go with it. It is a land, too. Yes, it's a flippy land. Let's flip this over for Tommy here. Seagate Reborn. So you can play it as one or the other. It's this functional. I do like these lands, like the Sky Cloud Ondu, I think it is, or Ondu, yeah, something. Ondu inversion and the Ondu Skyclave, they fix your mana base up real nice. Seagate enters the battlefield, you pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters tapped. So it can be an island for you. If you're not on curve with 7 mana, you can get this as an island, right? 6 mana, I think it's probably played in Vintage. Oh, Legacy is playing it. Painter Servant? Of course, we want to play it in Painter. Is it Phoenix, Blue Artifacts, and what have you? I'm just gonna take a look and see if what I got for it. Seagate. Seagate. Seagate Restoration. I know I buy listed. Avison Restored. Seagate. Seagate Restoration. I buy listed it for $13. And that was on April 25th, 2021. So here's a card I buy listed it for $13. Here's a case of Brody being wrong about a card. I buy listed this for $13. Of course, it's something that I opened in Zendikar Rising. Now it sees $27. So, and that was in 2021. This is another thing about buy listing here. If you don't want to feel bads, and this is how I kind of do it. If you're buy listing, try and trade up. All right. Like I put a buy list box together, and at least if the stuff that you buy listed goes up, like this card, Seagate Restoration, and you end up on the wrong side of having had buy listed, at least if you buy listed and traded up into something that costs a little more money or just a little bit better, you don't get the feel bads. You can be like, well, I buy listed the Seagate for $13 and it's worth 30 now. I don't want to have to buy it back, but at least I got what? What did you buy list? I got a dual land. And that's been pretty steady. So my strategy with buy listing is always buy list and try and trade up. Don't buy list straight across. Like that can hurt you because if you sell the Seagate for $13 into the store just to get another $13 card, and then this one goes up and the card you bought gets a reprint, the other $13 card you bought gets a reprint, then that goes down, then you get what's called impermanent loss, right? Or price disparity. So I suggest if you're buy listing, you want to trade up into something. So I can't feel too bad about it because I probably did get something pretty good. Other than that, we got this guy off the top here, Vito from M21. All right, exercising his veto power, this vampire cleric costs a black and 2. For this 1/3 legendaire, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Okay, so it's like a sanguine. It's a sanguine veto. And then you get 5 mana, 2 black, and 3 creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn, and he's a rare. I would like to play a mono black commander deck. Look at the chart on this. Very smooth. Very smooth. No cup and handle here. Holy smokes. Who's playing this? What have I missed here? And the foil version of it, pre-release foil. I like. Did you get the pre-release foil? It's $70. This is an expensive card. Holy smoke, $7 for an M21. Makes you want to open some of them. The card is just that good, hey? It is really good. Man, you're not kidding, Tommy. Look at this chart. This is an exceptionally bullish chart. But like, why did nobody take any notice of this card? Going back around 2021, it was worth $5, and now it's just sort of trended this way. Veto something. Check your bulk, folks, because if you have a promo on this, $70. I mean, this thing's hot, hot, hot. Wow, that's incredible. And like you can see, it hasn't seen a lot of price action at all for the last little while. In fact, until like 2023, October, it was downwardly trending, and now it's just taken a boost up in price. $70 for Vito. Already he's played in Edgar, of course, Vamp Tribal. We've got it in the Aloro Ageless Ascetic, Ariet the Charmed Apple, Klavenko the First Blessed, Shoulder the Apocalypse, all these commander decks playing it. Yes, because we want to give our creature's lifelink until the end of turn, and then yeah, I guess with Shoulder it makes it really good. You draw a card, and then you gain 2 life, and then whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much. Yeah, Vito does work. Yes, he's very good, Tommy. I'm gonna yes, the synergy. Vampire synergy.
Buy low, sell high, that's my motto. I may just quit my job at the power plant and become a full-time stock market guy.
All right, buy low, sell high. That's what I always say. Then maybe one day we can quit our job at the old bicycle factory and become a full-time Magic the Gathering trading card guy. That's the dream, isn't it? All right. We can jet set around the world selling singles at Magic events. Ah, wouldn't that be cool? Void Winnower, Eldrazi, 9 mana. This one's in the Liberator deck. The Battlethopter deck. Void Winnower. So it's really kind of funny, janky text on it. 9 mana for an 11/9. Your opponents cast spells with even mana values. 0 is even, and your opponents can't block with creatures with even mana values. So this card is odd. It is. It's rather odd, and it makes the odds be ever in your favor. If you're interested in the Hasbro Hunger Games, this card is an oddity. Eldrazi, what's good with Eldrazi? This card saw a bump up in price to $60 at around 2023. Let's look at this chart here. Ah, is this the cup and handle pattern forming? Perhaps not. Maybe it's more of a flag. See, it's coming this way. Let's clear that out of here. Could be a flag. Maybe because this card hasn't seen a reprint coming this way and then pumping up. Yes, pumping up. And then this could be like a flag pattern. Usually these flag patterns, if we get a second one, it'll come up like this and it'll end up giving us another leg up in price. And then normally with the flag pattern, you end up with a third one. If you're watching stock charts or trading charts, the third one, if you get it off, if you're down here at the bottom, good for you because you never saw it coming. Usually that's the way it goes. If you're in down here, it's something that you were holding for a long time and forgot about. If you catch it on the first bump up, chances are you can make some money. But if you don't catch it on the second one, you're probably in and out already without catching that gravy off the bottom. But this one here, if we do get a bit of a cup and handle pattern that starts to form, maybe sort of like this, with a little bit of a retrace right after it. This could be sort of our cup and handle pattern forming here this morning. Something to watch. This thing was as high as $60. I think it's safe to say it's going to be played in Commander. Yes. And the Creativity deck is playing it in Modern. Indomitable. 11.5. Pretty expensive. He has a reprint. He has reprint potential, right? Wasn't it in the pre-con? I don't know. It's a bit plain and it's a high cost. Yes. Void Winnower. I'm wondering, does the Liberator deck have it listed here? I saw it on the Liberator Karn's Bottle Thopter deck. I like that because we can play it with flash speed if we're running the Liberator. What else we got? Temporal Trespass. Here's another turns card. If you say so myself, this is $13. What set have we got here? Fate Reforged. Delve. So this is an extra turn card spell with Delve. It can cost as little as 3 mana. Take an extra turn. After this one, exile Temporal Trespass. It's amazing to me how many extra turn cards there are in the game now. It used to just be Time Walk, but now we got Time Warp, which is the 5 mana extra turn. We've got Time Walk, we've got Time Warp, we've got Savor the Moment, we've got Seed Time, we've got Walk the Aeons that has buyback. We've got Temporal Mastery that can take you a turn for 2 mana, which is like the miracle cost. And then we've got Ugin's Nexus, and then to this card, Temporal Trespass. So there's lots of ways to take extra turns in Magic the Gathering if you've got the mana. If you've got the mana, the turns you can have. This is 11 with the Delve mechanic on it, but the particularly powerful thing about the Delve mechanic is that it gives you a rebate. So later in the game, this becomes cheaper to cast. And in a deck like Edric, that plays lots of creatures and draws you lots of cards and makes lots of mana with dorks, coming up with this mana to cast this is not too hard of a problem. How are Slivers holding up? Yeah, Slivers probably holding up pretty decent. We want to take a look at the Hive Lord. You want to take a look at the Sliver Queen? That's a card that's been on my radar. So you can actually, if you can loop creatures together with making lots of mana and plenty of extra turn spells. Like in Commander, I think you can run like 5 to 8 of these extra turn spells and not have a duplicate. Temporal Trespass being one of them. Pretty powerful taking an extra turn. Later in the game, I actually can just kind of close out the game. Lost a few games that way, so I'll tell you, I know it. What about the Sliver Queen? You want to take a look at the Sliver Queen? From Stronghold, right? It's got to be $280. Oh, 288. Expensive card. Oh, there's a card I don't have. It's on the reserve list. This is a card that I really want to pick up. Like look at the chart on this one. This one's definitely got some potential, right? Definitely got some potential to see another pricing. Sliver Queen? It's not Pauper though. It's not Pioneer either. Not legal in Pioneer. This thing's been heading downward. So like if I could get myself a Sliver Queen, then I could play the Slivers. But there is other options. Like the Hive Lord and a few cheaper ones, but this one's on the reserve list. It's from Stronghold. It's the OG 5 mana. Hey, it's not over. No, it's not over. It's just getting started, actually. I'm still rocking and talking and stalking with you folks here today. We're talking Pioneer, Pioneer list. This is not a Pioneer card. Disclaimer, disclaimer. Let's get this straight. Sliver Queen. Sliver Queen does no Pauper things. Does no Pioneer things, but Temporal Trespass does. The Great Henge actually opened one of these in a collector pack not too long ago. This is a good hit. $54. Tried playing it last night. It's just really like in a Dorks deck, it's really mana heavy. 9 mana. It's hard. I had 7 mana on board and a 2/2, and I still couldn't get this thing off into the battlefield. The game was over before I could cast it because I only had a couple of 2/2s. So the rebate is real. You need some creatures with some good power and toughness. So you either got to get them up there and buff them. This legendary artifact is pretty darn good. Let's take a look at what's the cheapest version? The Great Henge. Any of you guys playing it? $50. A pretty stapley card from Throne of Eldraine. The extended foil. Here's the money shot. $156 for this legendary artifact. But it's neat because it's good in green. Like it's good for ramp. It gains you life. It taps for 2 green. It gains you 2 life, and then it's got this +1/+1 counter ability whenever a creature enters and draws a card. You can always use card draw in green, like something like this with the Beast Whisperer. Pretty darn good. The Henju. This version, quite expensive. I mean, even if it sees a reprint, I think the full art is going to keep going. Wow, this thing's kind of taking a softening. This thing's going soft. Was $300 and it's just sort of trending down. Maybe the hype around the Great Henge is just a little over. Also, another one to keep an eye on your radar is Swarm Yard. Well, let's take a look at that. Swarm Yard. Is that the one with the bugs on it? Oh, it's good. Squirrel. Squirrel. Yes, Swarm Yard. Actually, I have a copy of the card. I have one of it. Regenerate target insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. I will keep an eye on the Swarm Yard. Is this Pioneer legal? No, it's not Pioneer legal. But if you like squirrels, then that card is definitely Squirrel Tribal. It got reprinted 3 times, right? You think the Swarm Yard is going to spike with Bloomberry? All right, let's take a look at Erebos, God of the Dead. The Great Henju, the Erebosy. Indestructible as long as your devotion to oh, this is the god from Theros, right? I like this. I did like this sort of a mechanic with the gods. You got a big creature, but that came in as an enchantment for a really low cost, but you had to have the devotion to turn it on. So like the Thassa that lets you scry, the Erebos, and then the Perforos. Pretty neat mechanic in the Theros. It was pretty cool to play it. You get the big 5/7 for 4 mana, but you got to have the devotion to make it a creature. It's indestructible. Opponents can't gain life, and then you pay a black and 1, pay 2 life, draw a card. Pretty decent. What's this thing doing? Who enjoyed the the god from Theros? I certainly did. I thought they were a little hard to play in Modern because there were just so many better things in Modern. But I did play the Thassa, the 3 mana Thassa that scries you. Is 3 mana 5/5, so that's not too bad. The price on this one, it seems to be softening a little bit. It's not up to where it once was here in and around Strixhaven. Oh, Brody's pen is just getting a little away from him. So yeah, around Strixhaven, it was about 15, 18 bucks. Now it's just kind of softened in price and taken a little bit of a taper down. I don't know if there's going to be ever a you won a pre-release with Xenagos. Nice, Murray. Nice to see you here, buddy. Yes, I did like the gods, right? I like the Thassa. I like this. Xenagos. Murray won a pre-release. Good for you. Child of Alara as a commander. Longhair wants the squirrel version of the Swarm Yard. I don't blame you. All right, so Deck's playing it. What do we got here? Shoulder the Apocalypse. 5-color Enigmatic Fires is playing it in Pioneer. The Devotion, right? I want to build a mono black deck. It's out of all the monocolor decks, I think mono black is kind of the coolest to build. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, mono blue, yeah, but then you're like merfolking it. But mono black seems like a fun deck to play. There's lots of ways to do it. You got Chainer, you've got Gix, you've got Gary, the Gray Merchant. You got lots of really cool spells. Shelly and Ra is fun. Shelly and Rats is fun. Here's a card that I kind of missed out on. This was a War of the Spark pre-release promo. Okay, where are we here? War of the Spark. Where's the pre-release form? Pre-release promo. Pre-release event foil, $44. The most expensive one. That's why it pays to go to these pre-releases, right? You get the promos, and it's good to sit on them because a card like this, I think I might have got one, but this is maybe I didn't. But this is a card that was sleeping in the set. This was a pre-release promo. Razaketh in mono. You play Razaketh? I want to look that up. Just so I want to know what's Tommy. Just give me a second here. Yeah. I want to see what Razaketh's right. Razaketh the Foul-Blooded. Is that the one? Razaketh. It's got to be this one. Hey, Tommy. Oh, he had a pre-release too for $16. Let's see what Tommy's running mono black. All right, 8 mana for an 8/8. Awfully large. For the demon in charge, Flying Trample, as I like to call it, Flample. That's what you get when you cross flying and trample. You get the flample. It's just more fun to say flample. Flample and pay 2 life, sacrifice another creature, search your library for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle. It's got Toot Toot on it. It's got Tutor on it. Razaketh, and you get an 8/8 Flample. Pretty decent. So what are you running? You got Thralls? You got lots of Saki boys? Yes. And I guess I can go get you whatever you need. A Mythic? Oh, he's from the Amonkhet block. Is a demon. Black Rats, no Relentless, no Rat Colony. Tribal is the Rat King is the commander. You guys running mono black? Sounds like Tommy Siddons is. DJ, you got the mono black? Mono black rats. Finale of Devastation. This is pretty good card. Search your library or graveyard for a creature card with mana value X or less and put it on the battlefield. You search your library this way. If X is 10 or more creatures you control, get XX and gain haste until end of turn. So this gives you a bit of an overrun effect for this sorcery, and you get to go tutor for something pretty good. If you can ramp into 10 mana or more, this is definitely going to get you some goods onto the battlefield. Card I don't own. I wish I had got this from the pre-release. It's like, oh, when you think about that, you're like, now I gotta buy it. Oh, could have just gone to the pre-release. Just a big toolbox, rather big toolbox, silver bullets in there, right? I think the finale of Devastation got some support because of I think it won an event with Reed Duke, if I'm not mistaken. What do we got here on the chart? Take a look at the chart here this morning. It's actually taken a little bit of a tick down. It was up as $50. And it's a little softening in price. And now a little hump and a little bump in the road. It's taken a tick down. It's like sitting in and around the $20-$30 mark. Right now we're putting it an official 26. Decks using it. Commander, of course. Modern. Is this the Asmo food deck? Hey, hold on a second. I'm playing food in Modern. How is it playing that when it's green? I want to take a look at this deck list. What's going on here? What am I missing? Finale of Devastation? This has got to be a mistake. It is. Is it in the side? Where is it? It's not in there. The internet wouldn't lie. If it's online, it's got to be true. All right, Finale of Devastation. There's a card worth $50, kind of expensive. And the World Shaper. What is this? Green Merfolk from Ixalan? Are the Ixalan Merfolks taking a bump up in price? When your car window's frozen shut, a hacksaw blade easily cuts through the ice on the seam. Oh, Goldfish is smoking the good stuff. Yeah, that's another thing you got to watch out for. Like if you do this on your own, that's another thing I'd like to point out. Like there's outliers, and then there's like ways that these charts can be wrong and give you bad information. And trust me, I've made a bunch of mistakes by misreading charts or looking at it and thinking a card was spiking when it was actually an anomaly, or somebody mispricing a card, and then you FOMO into something, and regrettably later you realize you paid way too much for a Relentless Assault from Portal 3 Kingdoms because the chart said it was worth money, and you tried to pick it up for cheap. And then people actually prey on that. They'll see a chart spiking, and even if it's a false indication or a false spike, they'll put cards up for sale on eBay, so people will speculate on it and try and pick them up, only to go, haha, I got you. But so picking the diamonds out of the rough is kind of a tricky game to play when you're watching these cards, because it can be on either side. You can either get squigged or you can do some squigging. What's the World Shaper do? Merfolk, 3/3, a green and 3, is a shaman. Whenever World Shaper attacks, you may mill 3 cards. Whenever World Shaper dies, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. This is good. In my landfall deck I was playing last night, the Moldaya seems like a decent card. It's like the Mending of Dominaria right on a creature, right? The Mending of Dominaria, that's the one that returns all your lands from your graveyard to your battlefield. And then on the first two procs, it gets you mill 2 cards. And then on its third proc, you get to return all the lands from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is on a stick. In a landfall deck, this could be good. Okay, we were as high as $5. It hasn't really broken past that $5.50 mark. It was kind of lost steam, but maybe now with landfall deck, it's getting to be in and around the $4 to $5 mark, sitting in around here, kind of softening in price. Still a decent card from Ixalan. And like a card like the Pitiless Plunderer is another great card, another uncommon. Like I think there's some sleepers in the uncommon slot from time to time, especially in foil. And the Pitiless Plunderer from Ixalan is one of them. I think it's worth about $20 now. Very good card. It makes treasure, and people love treasure. It's pirate. Maybe this is one of those ones, but it's a rare. I love it when the uncommons do really well. Myco Tyrant, Muldrotha the Grand, Gravetide, Thalia the Gitrog Monster, Sidizzy Blood Tyrant, Hanzik Toolbox Torre, and Hassles on the Shaper of Sand. Okay, what else we got? World Shaper, and then Mogi's, God of Slaughter. Ugh. Mogi's God of Slaughter. That's another one from what? From Born of the Gods? Born of the Gamble? MTG Goldfish? What do you got for me? Legendary Enchantment God, a 7/5. Okay, we're definitely gonna need some devotion to get this thing online. As long as your devotion to black and red is less than 7, it isn't a creature. You need 7 loyalty to get devotion to get this thing online. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Mogi deals 2. The player, unless he or she stacks a creature. A little bit of a tick kill here. This mythic rare. Let's take a look at the chart for Mogi. Not too bad. What's the highest it's been? Oh, it was actually about $25 in Strixhaven. Just goes to show you, like, these things can just kind of take a bit of a whirlwind. $25 around Strixhaven and just kind of fell out of favor here. Not too fantastic. Mogi's got a slaughter commander card. I guess Mogi's is the commander, isn't he? All right. Are you going to Vegas? I don't know. I never considered it. This year is going to be an interesting year. I'm going to try and see if I can have the best year of my life this year. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be 2024. I want you guys to join me and have a good one. No travel plans as of such. I got no travel plans there, Ed. I would love to do Vegas, but we'll just see what happens. I'm going to see if we can swing it. We're already got family members planning the next Christmas, so we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for the next one. When's Vegas? Is there a Vegas? MagicCon Vegas coming in this 2024 season? I had so much fun in Vegas. It was a really good time. I would like to do it again. Well, these are your movers and the shakers for today, Tuesday, January 16th. Taking a look at the Pioneer list, folks. And I got one more article for you folks tuning in today. What do we say here? What do we say? Should we do one more article? We should. Let's take a look at this one here on the stock desk. Thank you all for joining me, the 351 amazing subscribers who love the game as much as we do. Let's take a look at this one more article. It's called Magic the Gathering Giveaway Offers New Murders at Karlov Manor Booster Box. A giveaway. We like giveaways. Brody Mon does Vegas. Indeed. I would love to do Vegas again. I have to see, the thing is, I have to be a hard sell to Mrs. Alfonso to do Vegas again. It was a really good drive. I'd do it again if I could. Let me just say this.
Buy low, sell high, that's my motto. I may just quit my job at the power plant and become a full-time stock market guy.
All right, if trading Magic cards works out really well for me this year, then perhaps I will go. We got the giveaway offers new Murders at Karlov Manor booster box. No matter why you're excited about Murders at Karlov Manor, it's hard to ignore the influence of the play boosters. Oh, God. You know, when they made the set boosters and the draft boosters different, I told myself, I said, this is a mistake. I wonder how long it's going to take them to about face on this one. But play boosters becoming the new normal. The days of the draft and set boosters are finally over. Yay, having those two. But the play boosters, we're going to see this, and it's going to combine the excitement of opening set booster packs with the playability of draft boosters. This divide is something that many players have desired to change for quite some time, and Murders of Karlov Manor will be the first set where players will experience the new play booster. Let me know how that goes. While there's a lot of positives coming out of the Play Booster change, there's one big negative, a price hike. Oh, of course, there's always price hike. I mean, anything to just get the price up. Play Booster boxes are essentially set boosters with a full 36 packs, meaning that they're quite expensive compared to the old draft boosters and set boosters. Early Amazon prices for the Murders of Karloff Manor boosters are as high as $170. Where are the days of the $85 booster box? I really enjoyed Ixalan. I should have just loaded up the truck back then and just drafted with my friends and sat out all this shenanigans with set boosts. We just keep drafting our life away and then cracking packs. But these packs are also going to be used for the Murders of Karloff Manor pre-release, hiking up those prices as well. And if that sounds a bit too expensive for you to buy, but don't want to miss out on Magic's latest set, good news. We have to be giving one away. All right. What's going on here? Play booster changes. So we got 1 to 6 commons, and then you got slots number 1 to 6 are common. Slot 7 is the uncommon or list card, and then you got 8 and 10. There's 2 uncommons. Slot 11 is the mythic or rare option. You got a basic land in slot 12. You got a foil card, wild card in slot 13. And then 14 is also a wild card. And then you got a token. So 15 card packs plus token. All right, for many, stating that Play Boosters combines the gameplay of a draft booster and the exciting experience of the set booster simply isn't enough. Achieving both of these things isn't an easy feat. So what exactly did Wizards of the Coast do to change about the Play Booster? And how's it going to impact the limited and pack opening experiences? Well, for the first time in quite a long time, players can now open 4 rare cards in their draft boosters. While this is great for the pack opening experience, some players may be worried that the influx of rares may increase the luck factor for Murders of Karloff Manor Limited. Fortunately, opening 4 rares in one pack is rather unlikely, while opening 4 rares in each of your 6 Murders of Karloff Manor pre-release packs is absolutely absurd. And a 24 rare pre-release kit likely to be an error box, a generally 24 rare pool. Oh, excellent. I have to win all my boxes moving forward to play new stuff. Thanks, Wizards. All right, so either way, this indicates a massive fusion between the set and draft boosters. It means that the most Karloff Manor booster boxes should have. Oh, it's a rhino. Hey, look, a rhino. It means that the most Karloff Manor booster boxes should have more than 36 rares in them. You could theoretically have as many as 144 rares in a box, but your chances to have an error box on your hands is actually what you need to get that many. Another massive element from the set boosters being added is the play booster is the list. Okay, this means that the exclusive list of reprints which didn't affect the past limited play will now be directly interfering. This also means that special guest cards will be obtainable in your Murders box, and the inclusion of Mana Crypt in the Lost Cavern Ixalan special lineup indicates anything it may be there that there's some massive potential for these slots to have some amazing reprints in Murders boxes. For now, Crashing Footfall is the only special guest card that we currently know about. The list has kicked up some fuss over for limited players as Magic's Arena has its own unique list slots from the paper versions of Murders at Karloff Manor. It means that when you want to get authentic draft experience for that set, you need to draft the set in paper. The absence of identical paper drafts on MTG Arena is definitely a controversial one, and you could even push more players to draft in paper if you really want to draft Murders as it is meant to be online. Magic the Gathering online is always another option. Booster Fun has always been part of the draft set boosters, but now with Play Boosters being implementing them at another level, almost every slot in the Murders box, Play Boosters has a chance of having a Booster Fun variant. In the Murders of Karloff Manor, 2 new Boosters Fun treatments have been revealed, the magnified treatment from the dossier treatment, and the dossier treatments are as pictured above. Made to look like a case file on a suspect in a murder mystery, the magnified treatment, according to Wizards, is meant to depict a story spotlight moment from the working on the case. This is what we're talking about here. Okay. I actually don't like it. So sue me. Okay, so Rox is doing a giveaway, so this is how you enter. If you like these articles, I suggest you maybe get in on this. If you enter into the giveaway for the Eldrazi Unbound Commander set, yada yada yada. This is interesting to see folks doing a giveaway. It's nice to If you want to get in on, head over to MTG Rocks. Why not? All right, all right.
Premiumbeat.com.
All right. Well, thank you, folks, for tuning in. It's the Tuesday edition of the Bro Show here, coming to you from the Great White North. Double Long John's Day. It's really chilly outside, so if you need to get your car door open because it's frozen, I've heard that a hacksaw blade works wonders to get the ice cut out. Lots of those life hacks online. People pouring hot water over the door and the windshield of their car. I don't know how well that one works, but be careful out there. Don't slip and fall. Watch your footing. Take care of one another and be kind. And if you can't bring a friend to Magic, bring a friend to Brody's. I appreciate you for any of the viewers tuning in who hit that smash button, the like button, and let's help the channel grow. Everybody who's tuning in this morning, the Mill Master, Tommy Siddons. We even have Ben Affleck, a super big thumbs up to you, the man with the biggest thumb in the YouTube universe, Ben Affleck. Appreciate you. Ed the Dual Brain, Mr. DJ Long, Twiddler over the Twiddler's Place, Tommy Siddons, Coach, Mill Master. Who else we got in here? Murray Cooper. Enjoy the day. Appreciate you for tuning in and throwing some love my way. We're going to do it all again tomorrow. It'll be hump day. We'll have some more stocks and talks for you where we talk Magic the Gathering in the mornings. Get your day off right. It's the working man for the working man. Brody Alfonso here doing the best that I can to bring you some Magic the Gathering stocks and some Magic the Gathering talks here on the channel. I like it. Love it. Want some more of it? Hit that like and subscribe button and we'll talk to you again real soon. I don't know why I always think of Ron Burgundy. Hear this too.